return to basketball now, and the Denver Nuggets will be aiming to secure their first title in franchise history when they host the Miami Heat in Game 5 of the NBA Finals later on Monday. The Nuggets hold a commanding 3-1 series advantage, a lead that has only been overcome once in NBA Finals history. But despite their two-game cushion, Nuggets head coach Mike Malone is urging his team to stay hungry.
My biggest concern going into any closeout game is human nature and fighting against that. You know, you're up 3-1, and, you know, most teams, when you're up 3-1, they come up for air, they relax, and they just kind of take it for granted that, oh, we're going to win this. And the neat thing for us is that going back to the bubble, you know, we've been down 3-1 before, and we've come back and won, and we know anything is possible. And that's why, like, my message to our team before we came down to the media in the open portion of practices was our approach has to be that we're down 3-1. You know, they're desperate, we have to be more desperate. They're hungry, we have to be hungrier. And there is no celebrating after Game 4. We have another game that we have to win. And the closeout game is always the hardest game ever. So I'm looking forward to seeing our approach. You know, we had it in Game 6 against Phoenix. We had it in Game 5 against Minnesota. We had it in Game 4 against the Lakers. And my hope is that tomorrow night, in front of just an unbelievable crowd, incredible environment, that our players understand the opportunity in front of them and take full advantage of it.
Miami Heat talisman Jimmy Butler had this to say when asked if the team dwells on prior disappointments.
Nothing that you could do about it. Once you lose a game, you can get better, you can learn, and then you can go into the next one and make sure that you win, which is what we must do. You know, the next three are legit must wins, or we came this far for no reason. So let go of Game 4, 3, 2, and 1, and focus in on the one that's next.
Our NBA expert, Alister joins us. Alister, you heard what Mike Malone said, and I think there's a reason why he's urging his team to stay hungry, because this Miami Heat team, they can't be underestimated. They've been, of course, at the opposite end of the stick, and they've bounced back, and they're here now.
That's it. Can't be underestimated, and it's a team, you know, I think everyone has taken for granted at certain points in times in this postseason, from the playing up until now. We've heard this story many times before, the underrated team, the undrafted players and all that sort of stuff, and they've kept on bouncing back every single time. And, you know, whilst it looks really bleak for them at this moment, it's one of those things where they've shown that they could come back and kind of just surprise everyone, punch everyone in the mouth with their predictions, and kind of just put them to the side and show that, no, we still have life left. But, you know, it's really good to hear what Mike Malone said. And, you know, he speaks like a veteran coach who's been in the finals for quite some time. You know, it's really good that he was able to put that perspective on it, reminding the team of what they did in 2020 when they came from two 3-1 deficits and came back to get to the conference finals. I think it was against the Jazz and the Clippers. And, you know, they know what it's like to be hungry and be able to pull off anything being possible. So, you know, they will come into this game, I think, with the level of respect that would be required for a very feisty Miami team. And, you know what, as much as we would like to think, you know, that, you know, it's impossible, only one team has come back from 3-1 in the finals, you know, another team could possibly do it. But I just don't think it's the Miami Heat this year, because I think what we've seen from the Denver Nuggets is just being undermanned, underskilled. There's the talent deficit that I think I came from with game 1 before we did the initial predictions. And I think that's kind of going to carry through. But again, in saying that, the final little comments here is, I give them one more game. I think Jimmy Butler is probably going to come out heavy, you know, come out like a little bit like a Tasmanian devil. He's going to be just all around the place, zooming here and there to try to secure as much as he can. So it's going to be a really good game tonight, and, you know, looking forward to see how it plays out.
So you're giving the Heat another game, which means there will be no NBA champions decided tonight.
I would like to think that, you know, based on just everything we've seen so far, that the Denver Nuggets could close it out. And exactly what Mike Malone has said there, you know, these teams are going to come out just as hungry and desperate as the Miami Heat team. But I find it still hard to kind of go against a Jimmy Butler team, you know, who's just proven everyone wrong every step of the way. I don't think they could win this series, but I think they could potentially pull out this one more game tonight. and force a game 6. But, I would not be surprised if it gets closed out tonight as well, though.
Yeah, and I think we have to discuss, the manner in which Nikola Jokic has led his team. To me, it's as if he does it in such a cool, calm manner that it trickles throughout the squad. It's similar to what we say about Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. When he has a good game and he's hyped up, that sort of energy trickles into his squad. So it's two opposing styles when you think about it. Nikola Jokic, cool, calm, the big guy getting the job done. When he's asked about things in the press conference, it's as if, let's brush that off because, of course, we have bigger fish to fry. We have to win the NBA. But Jimmy Butler, I like to think of him like a thunderbolt. He has a lot to say. He's, energetic, exciting. What do you think?
Yeah, we see Nikola Jokic, and I think that's probably a little bit of a hallmark of most of the European players. They come in and they're very modest, very respectful to their opponents and everything, and they always try to deflect to the team. And that's what we've seen from Nikola Jokic throughout his whole career. The last game, we saw him struggle a little bit, and coming off a little bit of an ankle twist in the first quarter, it kind of threw him off his game a little bit. Although he still managed to pull up a very good double-double. 23 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists only, but only short, only short 8 of 19 from the field.
Yes.
But, he was still able to kind of give that momentum and kind of urge the guys on, even in foul trouble in the fourth quarter, to allow guys like Bruce Brown to come in and have a remarkable fourth quarter, 11 points, 3-pointers and ones. As Jeff Green, who had scored the whole game, hit a really timely 3-pointer in that moment as well. So having a leader who, very similarly to Jimmy Butler, just has this a very calm approach, no pressure. He's not going to magnify any pressure. He's just going to play the game and play as methodical as he is. It really does trickle down to the team. And of course, you have an ultimate closer within a guy like Jamal Murray, who can kind of put a back and create for himself and others as well. So these guys have the utmost confidence, and it doesn't surprise anyone watching that 3-1 night.
Right, and based on what you just said, of course, Nikola Jokic, his supporting cast has been brilliant. Whereas, when the Miami Heat lost, Jimmy Butler didn't get support from the likes of Bam Adebayo and Caleb Martin. Are you expecting tonight, if the Miami Heat is to win, they'll definitely need support? The star man will need support from his supporting cast.
One little correction there, Mariah. You said everything else there was good, but one little correction. I think Bam Adebayo has actually played really well in these finals. Before he's come up to these finals, he's averaged only like 16 points and 9 rebounds a game. In these finals, he's actually averaging 22 and 12. And kind of been a little bit of a defensive presence and trying to do his best. He's kind of been the most consistent player up until this point. Gabe Vincent had a remarkable first 2 games, averaging 21 points a game in the first 2, and these last 2, starting point guard only averaging 4 points a game.
Yeah.
Max Strus has kind of completely disappeared. So yes, you're right in saying that the supporting cast definitely need to step up and everything, but Bam Adebayo just needs to be that Bam, like we keep on talking about, being aggressive, being ruthless, and continuing to put up the stats that he has, because he has probably been the only person who has been reliable next to Jimmy Butler throughout the whole series, and will need to continue that to extend the series to one more game.
All right, well, I take that correction. I will say then that Bam Adebayo needs Jimmy Butler, who's the star man, to step up for him, along with the rest of the supporting cast. Alister, as usual, it is a pleasure chatting with you, especially about these riveting NBA discussions. We'll talk again very soon. Let's see if we're talking about a winner tomorrow.
Let's see.
All right, Alister Albert there, our NBA expert. Let's take a quick break. Get your Dasani. We'll be right back.